Jalopy Races from Hollywood. Good afternoon, racing fans. This is Bill Welch. Once again, we're set to bring you one of America's most exciting racing events, Jalopy Races from Hollywood. We're up here in the grandstand at the fastest quarter-mile dirt track in the world, the famous Culver Stadium. And you're going to see some real daredevil driving today. And as usual, our ambulance is standing by just in case. So get set, folks. We'll be ready to go with our first race in just a moment. Get ready again for exciting action on the world's fastest quarter-mile dirt track, the Culver Stadium in Hollywood. And with those slam-bang jalopies all set to drive an 8-lap race. In just a moment, we'll introduce you to a strong field of 8 of the top drivers here. Based on their qualifying times today, they've earned positions in this race. And of course, as always, our races are handicapped. But let's meet the drivers now. And first of all, let's see if you can pick among this group a winner. Among the 8, one of them is going to get that checkered flag first. Who's it going to be? Well, maybe you're smart enough to figure it out. But look them over, because there's some newcomers like Johnny Sherwood, who hasn't driven too many times here, and some real veterans like Dich Elliot and the rest of them. Now, Johnny Sherwood has just been introduced by Jimmy Sheridan, our starter, and he moves across to Harry Thomas in car number 77. And in the second row, we have Ed Southard in car number 47, and Jim Klessig in car number 80. And in the next row, it's Jim Maurkie, that's really his name. 108 is the number on the car, and Ray Mazy drives number 79. And in the back row, the 2 top boys of the day, based on qualifying times, smiling Rex Schenley here in number 16, and Dich Elliot in car number 20. That's what I say. These are handicap races, so the cars with the faster qualifying times are put toward the rear. Now the signal comes, let's get them rolling. And as soon as the boys have circled the track, get there in position, Jimmy Sheridan is going to give them the green flag and get them underway for 8 exciting laps. Just a little trouble getting Jim Klessig's number 80 rolling, but it seems to be all right now. He's on his way. And we have a gap or two here while we wait for Jim Maurkie in 108 to get his engine turning over and move up with the front runners in the field. He should be up there, though. He's on his way now, and he'll be closing up the gaps here in just a moment or two, and everybody will be in position and ready to go. Here comes Ed Southard in number 47, moving up into the second row where he belongs. That car's white on one side and black on the other, so it may fool you now and then as it goes around the track. Up they come to the starting line. Jimmy Sheridan takes a long look at them, gives them the green flag, and we're underway for 8 laps. Right off the bat, Johnny Sherwood in car number 276 jumps off into the lead with Harry Thomas in number 77 hanging on there for second place. Ed Southard running third in black and white car number 47. And the rest of the field very close behind. Harry Thomas in a little bit of trouble there. Ed Southard takes advantage of that situation, trying to move inside him. Harry Thomas comes up to cut him off and try to get Johnny Sherwood out of the way at the same time. And look at these 3 drivers battling out for first, second, and third place. Look out, Sherwood's in trouble, and Harry Thomas sneaks inside of him. At the end of 2 laps, he's going into the lead. And it looks like Ed Southard in number 47 is going to move by there also. Sherwood, however, is still second on the outside in car number 276. But it's Harry Thomas in the lead now in number 77 at the end of 3 laps. Moving into second place is Ed Southard in number 47, and the rest of the field comes moving along too, including both Rex Schenley in 16 and Dich Elliot in car number 20, the 2 of them having started in the back row, as you probably remember. But Harry Thomas holds on to the lead in number 77, and pushing him at the moment is Ed Southard in car number 47, with Rex Schenley now into 3rd place and Dich Elliot into 4th place at this present moment. Down the backstretch, the battle still rages here for the lead in this race, and I'll bet you Harry Thomas is a nervous boy as he completes 5 laps, knows he has 3 to go, and then must see that Rex Schenley has just moved inside of Ed Southard, and Schenley is into 2nd place, and now he's gotten inside of Harry Thomas. If Thomas doesn't cut him off there in the backstretch, he's got a chance to take over the lead. Look at him drive that car. There comes Dich Elliot moving into the inside also to try to get past both Ed Southard and Harry Thomas. Thomas still trying to cut off Rex Schenley in the number 16, hasn't been able to do it yet, and Schenley moves up even with him. He may take over. Here he is, going down the backstretch, going into the lead. Here comes Dich Elliot, pushing him hard right behind. He also gets by Harry Thomas, and with a lap to go, Rex Schenley goes out in front. Dich Elliot goes into 2nd place, and it looks like it's going to be a big battle for 3rd place between Harry Thomas in 77 and Ed Southard in 47. but first and second look like they're pretty well nailed down. Up to take that checkered flag, and the winner of the race is Rick Schenley in number 16. Look out, we got a bad one there. Jim Crackup in number 80 and Ray Mazy number 79 went over that crash wall. They were way back in the field, and they've gone right through that crash wall into the pits. We really had a bad one there. Let's hope that nobody is hurt. They've called for the ambulance, they've called for the wreckers, and we've got a big repair job to do on that crash wall. Those boys really locked wheels and went flying through the air. You can see some of the damage from here as the pit crews gather around to check on everybody. But it's all okay, and here are the official results. Rick Schenley wins in 16, Dich Elliot second in 20, Harry Thomas third in 77. In the meantime, they've gathered around the cars, and we have just gotten the signal that nobody is hurt, despite that spectacular crack-up. Schenley is leaving now in his car number 16, and also following him off, Ed Southard in car number 47. Well, a race that we thought was all over and calmly put away, and the biggest part of the excitement seemed to come after the race was over. But in the meantime, the officials here at the Culver Stadium hurry the boys out on the track, and in a moment or two, we all set to go with another 8-lap race and another field of 8 cars, all ready to drive. They're moving out now, taking their positions. Bob Forrester there at number 4 just went by, and we're waiting to see who's going to come out next. Here's number 18. This is Ray Douglas. He wants to be sure everybody's in position because since he had the fastest qualifying time of the 8 cars, he's outside in the back row. We'll give you the official lineup in a moment or two so that you can have a chance to think about a possible winner for this race also. I wonder how well you did in the last one. Well, maybe you can do better in this one by picking a winner from this outstanding group of drivers that we have here. Crash helmets are on, the goggles in place, the safety belts all fastened tightly, the shoulder straps hooked on, so these boys can go through these crack-ups, as you saw just a few moments ago, and still, just like those 2 drivers, come out of most of them completely unscathed. They're taking their time in this one, so we should be certain that they'll get a start as they come out of the west turn. A very slow pace being set there by Ed Van Eyck in car number 28. That's the pole position car. And with the famous California sunshine bearing down on the drivers here, they come by one of the assistant starters, get the signal to hold their positions. Jimmy Sheridan watches them as they move out of that turn. Let's see if he likes to look at this race. He's checking them carefully as they come up toward him, and he gives them that green flag, and we're underway for 8 laps in this one, too. Now watch them as they battle it out there. Ed Van Eyck jumps off into the lead, and that number 28, that pole position is mighty important. But since he has the slowest of the 8 cars, based on qualifying times, he's going to have to battle all the way to hang on to it. And at the end of the first lap, he's in front, but just barely, because they're staying right with him. Look at that bunched up bunch of cars we got there as they all bear down on Ed Van Eyck, following closely along behind him there to see what they can do about improving their position. Pete Gardenas is running in second place at the moment at number 62. Look out, he's in trouble, slipping and sliding. He has lost that position and has been passed, and going into second place, Termite Snyder in car number 3. And Pete is losing ground to 2 or 3 other drivers, too. Ray Douglas is coming up there now in car number 18. Ray, you know, was outside in the back row, and this shows you why they handicap these drivers, because Douglas already, at the end of the 3rd lap, is now in 3rd place, and that's a mighty fine driving job to be able to do that. The lead is still held by Ed Van Eyck in car number 28. Termite Snyder went very high in that backstretch there. I thought for a moment he might have been out of control, but everything seems to be all right. And halfway through the race, some of the boys at the back are having their troubles, but out in front it's 1, 2, 3. Ed Van Eyck, Termite Snyder, and Ray Douglas. And look at them go there, bumper to bumper, and bump is what they do. And wait a minute, Bob Forrester in car number 4 moves up beside Ray Douglas. He wants to get in on the fun. Went a little too fast in the turn, lost some ground, and he falls back to 4th place once again. As the 3 leaders continue to fight it out here, Termite Snyder has a notion now and then about trying to pass on the outside, and that's mighty tough to do, and he might lose 2nd place just the way it looks like he's going to do right now. He went a little too wide, and at the end of 6 laps, Ray Douglas has gone by him into 2nd place. Termite Snyder, as a matter of fact, has been passed also by another car, and he's cleared back to 4th position. The rest of the field is stringing along behind here as the battle carries on here to see who's going to get this race. Well, out in front still is Ed Van Eyck, but Ray Douglas has moved up to 2nd place, and they have only a lap to go as they fight it out. Bob Forrester is in 3rd place at number 4. Termite Snyder's in 4th place at number 3, but he's inside of Forrester. This is the final lap, and look at Ray Douglas start to make his move on the outside of Ed Van Eyck. Here comes Termite Snyder. Ray Douglas tries to cut him off. Termite Snyder guns it. Ed Van Eyck is leading. It's very close for the finish. It looks like Termite was 2nd in a great driving job behind Ed Van Eyck, with Ray Douglas 3rd, but that one is so close. We want to be sure and check that with the officials so we can give you the final results accurately. A great driving job by Termite Snyder. He didn't win the race, but it certainly looked like he gunned it after having some trouble there to come back in and get himself 2nd place, which is pretty important in itself. Here's Ed Van Eyck coming around and getting the checkered flag for a fine driving job, staying out in front all the way around. He gets an extra lap carrying the checkered flag. Now I understand the results are official. Here they are. Ed Van Eyck in 28 wins it. It is Termite Snyder second to number 3, and it's Ray Douglas third in car number 18. A great race indeed, and here's the boy that won it, Ed Van Eyck, returning the checkered flag once again to Jimmy Sheridan. A great driving job by Ed in that car number 28. We'll have more action and excitement for you in just a moment, because here come another group, this time the 4 top cars of the afternoon based on their qualifying times. And Ed Van Eyck's other car, number 8, is being brought out for him so that he can drive in this race also. We'll introduce the drivers to you in just a moment, and then we'll see if you can pick out a winner in this one. It'll be just 4 laps, remember, the 4 top cars, and we call this one the Helmet Dash, because there's a special award to be made to the driver who wins this particular race. Jimmy Sheridan signals to the drivers to turn off the engines for a moment. We want to give you a look at the official lineup, and there it is for you. Now let's see if among Ed Van Eyck, Fred Russell, Scotty Cain, and Howie Douglas, you can pick the winner of this very quick race. All right, Ed Van Eyck is being introduced in car number 8, and Fred Russell in car number 1, also getting the introduction here with the help of Jimmy Sheridan, our popular and efficient starter. In the second row, it's Scotty Cain in number X, over there on the far side from you, the inside of the track. And it's Howie Douglas in number 181. And Howie waves to you here as he gets ready to drive this important race. Remember, just 4 laps, so it'll all be over very quickly, and you'll see some great driving as these boys fight it out to see who's going to be the winner. Fred had just a bit of trouble with his goggles there. They were checking on him, and of course they don't let the boys start until they've checked on safety belts, shoulder straps, crash helmets, goggles, everything such as that. Now here they go, rolling away, and somebody seems to be in a hurry. It's Ed Van Eyck, and so the other boys tramp down on it a little bit here to catch up with him, because they want to get this race underway this time around. Here they come out of the west turn, all formed up and ready to go, and it looks very good for a start. Matter of fact, it's practically a perfect start as they get the green flag from Jimmy Sheridan, and away they go into the first lap of the race. Well, Ed Van Eyck in that car number 8 holds it even Steven with Scotty Cain coming up behind him, and Ed is fighting off Fred Russell on the outside in car number 1. Here's Scotty Cain trying to make a move on the inside. Couldn't quite do it, and he's back into a tie with second place with Fred Russell once again. Ed Van Eyck holds them both off, and Howie Douglas trails along behind in 181, looking for a chance to shoot through there and get up in the front-running competition also. Up they come, a bump for Ed Van Eyck from Scotty Cain, and Scotty got more trouble than did Ed out of it. But if you think those are bumps, wait till you see our Crackup of the Week that's coming up in this program in just a few moments. It's a real thriller. Scotty Cain to number X now moves up trying to get inside of Ed Van Eyck. Ed is cutting him off. Look at him chop away at him there. Really cuts him down to size, sends him into the infield, and I think it'll cost Scotty second place. It surely did, because there's Fred Russell in number 1, moving up into second position, and Scotty Cain's got to fight if he wants to get that second place back, and it's going to be very tough to try to come on and beat Ed Van Eyck out of this one, because here they come, running for that checkered flag, and up to the finish line, and Ed Van Eyck wins it, and Fred Russell is second, and then it's Scotty Cain. But we'll wait for just a moment and check in with the officials on that one, because there might be a penalty on one of the drivers for some of that rough driving. And Scotty Cain, not very happy, is after Ed Van Eyck. He's after him a little bit too much. Look out there, Scotty! And Ed Van Eyck very wisely takes to the infield to get away from Scotty Cain, who I think was a little mad. Now it's official. It's the winner, Ed Van Eyck in number 8, Fred Russell second in number 1, Scotty Cain third in number X. Folks, to bring you the Crackup of the Week. Each week we'll show you pictures of some of the most exciting accidents ever filmed. Pictures that our special cameras have managed to get during these races. And as an added attraction, we'll meet the driver who was actually in the accident. Watch closely now as we take a look at this week's Crackup of the Week. The cars were going pretty smoothly in the 13th lap of a hooligan, when suddenly our slow-motion cameras on the backfield caught Al Thompson being hit and flipping over, with his car coming apart at the seams. Let's see it again. Al came out of it unhurt, and here he is in person. Folks, meet Al Thompson. Al, you look hale and hearty to me. I guess you're all right after those crack-ups, huh?
Yeah, I feel pretty good.
Do you remember one in particular that you thought was a bad one that you were in?
Well, hit the wall one time, rolled over my side, and kind of shook me up a little bit.
You never have been hurt, though, seriously, have you?
No, I haven't.
How do you account for that, Al?
Oh, I think it's strict regulations the association has on safety in that, lap belts and shoulder straps.
Uh-huh. That really helps out. I can tell that. And those crash helmets come in handy, too, when your head's flopping around.
They sure do.
Al, now, let's see. I think you just finished college, haven't you?
That's right.
Where did you go to school?
Valley College. Valley College.
Uh-huh. And you took on an added responsibility recently?
Yes, just got married.
Just got married. Well, let's see. What about your financial setup?
Well, right now it's all right. I'm hunting for a full-time job, and I plan on going into business for myself.
What did you study out at Valley College?
Business management and business law.
And you'd like to have your own business?
Yes, sir.
Any particular kind?
I'm thinking about the muffler business.
Well, I should think being in the automotive world like this would be a good idea. These jalopies are pretty noisy. Maybe you might sell a few right here.
Yeah, I might try.
But you're going to stay with racing, too, aren't you, Al?
I think so. I like it.
Fine. Thank you very much, Al Thompson. Nice to have you here. And now, folks, let's get back to racing. And now we're getting ready to roll with an important 15-lap race for you, but this one is a hooligan, and that means some of the boys that haven't had too much experience on the track are going to get a taste of it for perhaps the first time in their driving lives. So let's see what they do as they come out on the fastest quarter-mile dirt track in all the world, and let's see who's going to win this race for you, too. We've got so many cars, we almost have a traffic jam at the gates here. They have to hold things up for just a moment while they try to position the drivers, get them set for a quick introduction to you, and also get them underway in the first lap of the race. A big field with the pole position going to Clyde Mitchell in car number 109, stretching all the way back to the last car, and it'll be Peck Markota driving his car number 127 today, though as you know he has the tough luck car also, number 13, the car that defies all racing superstition, because he paints it green, which no driver would think of doing, and he has peanuts in it too, which is another of the superstitions of driving. But here, now, in addition to Peck and Clyde Mitchell and the rest of them, let's see if you can pick out of this group one that's going to be the winner of the race. A lot of good drivers there, a lot of boys with not much experience, and I tell you, it's going to be a real test to see if you can figure out which one wins this particular 15-lap race today. A lot of time for a lot of things to happen out on that track. In a moment, we want to give you a quick rundown on the cars also. So let's start right off at the beginning there with Clyde Mitchell in 109. 106 is Vern Michael. Here's Johnny Evans in 32 and Bill Rogers in 165. Bob George in 49. And beside him, Tommy Monroe in car number 95. Then the next row back behind Tommy, who just waved to you there, we have Harry Kaye. He's in car number 119. And we have Bill Wiltrout, who is driving car number 37 today. And another row back, and one of our top drivers came out to have some fun in this one. He's driving car number 102, and his name is Danny Lettner, of course. And beside him, Clyde Smith in 29. And we have Mario Ramos in car number 25 here. And Mario waves to you, and Dich Higley's on hand, too, in his car number 84. As soon as he gets it into position. Another row back, and waving to you now, Art Atkinson from car number 43. Beside him, Glen Wallace in 57. And so we move clear on to the very back where we have Charlie Stoner back there in 17, and Peck Markota in 127. And Jim Robinson in 75 just getting out in time to get into this race also. They let him enter right up at the very last moment as far as this particular race is concerned. And they've already been given the signal to get rolling. And as soon as we get one car that seems to be stalled there momentarily down on the track, sometimes the boys' starters just won't turn the engines over. Then we'll be all set to go if we can form them up in time. You can see that Clyde Mitchell in 109 is setting a very, very slow pace over there, waiting for the rest of the field to close up behind him so that everybody can get off this first time round. And now as they come out of the west turn, the ranks are pretty well closing up here, and it looks like Jimmy Sheridan will find good cause to wave that green flag and tell the boys it's time to go. So let's see what happens now as they come rolling up to that starting line. He gives them that green flag. We're underway for 15 laps. This is the hooligan. Most anything can happen. Right off the bat, Vern Michael's in trouble with 106. Causes a traffic jam in there. And the boys are all in trouble. Look out. It looks like Bob George in 49 is having some difficulty back there in the pack. And he is coming in broadside now. And Jim Robinson in 75 bouncing and spinning off him also. Two of the boys in trouble. And let's see if the rest of them, yes, everybody else manages to get by. But those two are still stalled out there, and I hope they get off the track before that field comes bearing around on them once again. Here they come, out of the west turn. Clyde Mitchell rolling all by himself now in car number 109 here, after getting out in front, but this race is a long way from being over, and it's going to be tough to tell who the winner might be. Back behind him, of course, quite a battle develops here for some of the other positions. Up through the field has come Harry Kaye in number 119 to do a very fine driving job. And at the end of 3 laps, it looks like it's going to be quite a battle for some of those places there up near the front. 84, driven there by Dich Higley, a good driver, a top boy. And he's on his way, working his way right through traffic. He's up to 3rd place already. And it looks like he's going to improve that position right here and now. at the end of 4 laps. Out in front is Clyde Mitchell, but Clyde seems to be having a little bit of engine trouble, and into second place already has gone number 84, driven by Dich Higley. Look out, we got a water puddle in the infield, and one of the boys got an unexpected bath. Well, anything will happen, including taking a mud bath, as far as the hooligan races at the famous Jalopy Races in Hollywood are concerned. Now, it is Dich Higley who has moved out in front since Clyde Mitchell's 109 developed some engine trouble there. He hasn't been able to hold the position, and Dich Higley is definitely the leader in the race at the present time. Mitchell is just rolling along on the outside there and letting the boys go by him to lap him as the field continues to move along. He's having too much trouble with that engine, and he can't hold up the pace, and Dich Higley goes on. We're already 1 lap in front, adds another one on there as he goes by that car once again. So Dich Higley leads in the race, and we're waiting to see who's going to emerge from this pileup of cars here and move up into second place. At the moment, it's Harry Kaye in 119 trying to see what he can do, and Glen Wallace is in there in 57, and Art Atkinson in number 43. They're coming along also to get up into contention for some of the front positions as far as this race is concerned. But the big leader, and you can see him way out by his lonesome now, is Dich Higley in car number 84. Harry Kaye being hard-pressed here at the end of 8 laps to try to hold on to third place. Remember, Clyde Mitchell's 109 is a lap behind because of engine trouble, although he's mixed in at the moment with those front runners up there. 119 and Harry Kaye pushed right out to the outside as number 43, Art Atkinson, goes by him. And number 57, Glen Wallace also. And they came from the next to last row in this race, so they're doing very well to get this far up in front with the race just a little more than halfway over. They're going to try to get by Clyde Mitchell in that 109, and his car, as we told you, still keeps rolling around the track, although he's having a lot of trouble. The boys are going by him, and at the end of 10 laps, look at the big lead that number 84, Dich Higley, has here. And now, Art Atkinson and 43 and Glen Wallace move on up there. Wait a minute, I think some of the other boys are having trouble further back behind there. Harry Kaye in 119, and indeed, there he goes, and he and Mario Ramos in 25 spin into the infield, and they'll, of course, take themselves right out of any chance of finishing up among the leaders. Matter of fact, I think they've decided they've had enough of one of these hooligan races because they're pulling into the infield instead of staying out there in front. In the meantime, the leader is number 84, Dich Higley, and he's got himself a good, big, comfortable lead at the end of 12 laps. But the battle goes on as Higley is lapping additional cars in the field now. Clyde Mitchell is still hanging on there in one of those cars, but of course, as we told you, he's a lap behind, so you can't count him. Actually, it's Glen Wallace and Art Atkinson who seem to have the best chance of doing something about this big lead that Dich Higley has in his car number 84 as he goes by us at the end of 13 laps here once again. A great driving job by Dick with a car that seems to be red hot. He started pretty well back. He was in the third from the last row, and as you know, he went way out in front of the field there with some fine driving. Only a lap to go now, and it looks like nobody's got a chance to cut him off. But we got a traffic jam. Here's Art Atkinson and Glen Wallace try to get by a slow car that has them partially blocked off there. They're doing their best. Now they find a way by, and it looks like Glen Wallace got himself in front of Art Atkinson in that maneuver to take over second place, because here comes the finish, the checkered flag, and the winner was Dich Higley, and in second place, Glen Wallace. He's there for second. Art Atkinson third in number 43. Quite a driving job there by Atkinson and Wallace. It was Sunday driving for Dich Higley, as the boys would say at the track here in Hollywood. Here comes Dick around once again, get the plaudits of the crowd, and just take an extra insurance lap. The boys do that once in a while, just to be certain, of course, that they have covered the required number of laps. Some of them, of course, don't worry about it since they're too far back in the field. They're ready to take off for the pits immediately after the checker flag is put out to them. We're waiting to see what the officials have to say, and I think the results are now in, and officially, there they are. Dich Higley wins in 84, Glen Wallace second in 57, Art Atkinson third in car number 43. And there's a real race for you, and there goes the boy that won it, coming from third from the last row in number 84. He's going around the track just once more as the rest of the field heads for the pits. We can't get them all off the track at one and the same time, and Dick, as a matter of fact, comes down here to confer with the officials. That's it, folks. We hope you had as much fun watching these Jalopy Races as we had bringing them to you. So be sure to join us again next week for Jalopy Races from Hollywood. Until then, this is Bill Welch saying so long from Hollywood, California. Jalopy Races from Hollywood was produced and directed by Bert I. Harris. This has been a Harriscope production.